Hello everyone and welcome to week 5. This week we're going to be talking about short-term business decisions. Starting off with learning objective 1, identifying information that is relevant for making short-term decisions. So in this chapter we see how managers use their knowledge of cost behavior to make short-term business decisions, such as whether to accept an order with special pricing or drop an unprofitable product. The decisions we discuss in this chapter pertain to short periods of time, usually 1 year or less. In the next chapter, we discuss long-term decisions. Before we look at some typical short-term decisions in detail, let's consider a manager's decision-making process and the information managers need to evaluate their options. This exhibit illustrates how managers make decisions among alternative courses of action. Managerial accountants help with the third step, which is gathering and analyzing relevant information to compare alternatives. When managers make decisions, they focus on information that is relevant to the decisions. Relevant information is expected future data that differs among alternatives. Relevant costs are costs that are relevant to a particular decision. To illustrate, if Smart Touch Learning were considering purchasing a new delivery truck and they were choosing between two models, the cost of the truck, the sales tax, and the insurance premium cost would all be relevant because these costs are future costs that occur after Smart Touch Learning decides which truck to buy, and they differ between the alternatives. Each truck model has a different invoice price, sales tax, and an insurance premium. These costs are relevant because they can affect the decision of which truck to purchase. The same principle applies to all situations. Only relevant data affects decisions. Irrelevant costs are costs that do not affect the decision. So, for example, if the two truck models have similar fuel efficiency and maintenance ratings, we do not expect the truck operating cost to differ between those two alternatives. Because these costs do not differ, they do not affect Smart Touch Learning's decisions. In other words, they are irrelevant to the decision. Sunk costs are costs that were incurred in the past and cannot be changed, regardless of which future action is taken. Sunk costs are always irrelevant to the decision. This does not mean that we cannot learn from past decisions. Managers should always take into consideration the results of past decisions when making future decisions. However, because sunk costs are already spent, these costs are not relevant to future decision making. For example, perhaps Smart Touch Learning wants to trade in its current truck when the company buys the new truck. The amount Smart Touch Learning paid for the current truck, which was $15,000 a year ago, is a sunk cost. No decision made now can alter the sunk costs spent in the past. All the company can do now is keep the current truck, trade it in, or sell it for the best price the company can get, even if that price is substantially less than what Smart Touch Learning originally paid for the truck. What is relevant is the amount Smart Touch Learning can receive if it sells the truck in the future. Suppose that one dealership offers $8,000 trade-in value for the truck, but another dealership offers $10,000. Because the amounts differ and the transaction will take place in the future, the trade-in value is relevant to Smart Touch Learning's decision. The same principle applies to all situations. Only relevant data affects decisions. When making decisions, managers should consider both financial or quantitative information and non-financial or qualitative information. Non-financial or qualitative factors also play a role in managers' decisions and as a result can be relevant. For example, closing manufacturing plants and laying off employees can seriously hurt employee morale. The decision to buy or subcontract a product or service rather than produce it in-house can reduce control over delivery time or product quality. Offering discounted prices to select customers can upset regular customers and tempt them to take their business elsewhere. Managers have to always consider the potential quantitative and qualitative effects of their decisions. Managers who ignore qualitative factors can make serious mistakes. For example, the city of Nottingham, England spent $1.6 million on 215 solar-powered parking meters after seeing how well the parking meters worked along countries along the Mediterranean Sea. However, they did not consider that British skies are typically overcast. The result was that the meters did not always work because of the lack of sunshine. The city lost money because people parked for free. Relevant qualitative information has the same characteristics as relevant financial information. The qualitative effect occurs in the future and differs between alternatives. In the parking meter example, the amount of future sunshine required differed between alternatives. The mechanical meters didn't require any sunshine, but the solar power meters needed a lot of sunshine. A common approach to making short-term business decisions is called differential analysis. Differential analysis is a method that looks at how operating income would differ under each decision alternative. It leaves out irrelevant information. In this approach, the emphasis is on the differences in operating income between the alternative approaches. Differential analysis is also sometimes called incremental analysis. Instead of looking at the company's entire income statement under each decision alternative, we just look at how operating income would differ under each alternative. Using this approach, we leave out irrelevant information, the cost and revenues that will not differ between alternatives. In this chapter, we'll consider several kinds of short-term business decisions, such as regular and special pricing, dropping unprofitable products and segments, product mix and sales mix, and outsourcing and processing further. As you study these decisions, keep in mind the two keys in analyzing short-term special business decisions. First, focus on relevant revenues, cost, and profits. Irrelevant information only clouds the picture and creates information overload. Second, use a contribution margin approach that separates variable cost from fixed cost. Because fixed cost and variable cost behave differently, they must be analyzed separately. Traditional income statements which blend fixed and variable costs together can mislead managers. Contribution margin income statements, which isolate costs by behavior, whether it's variable or fixed, help managers gather the cost behavior information that they need. Keep in mind that unit manufacturing costs are mixed costs too, so they can also mislead managers. If you use unit manufacturing cost in your analysis, be sure to first separate the unit cost into its fixed and variable portions. We use these two keys in each decision. Thanks for watching the video. I'm going to post it in the discussion with a follow-up question, and I'll see you there.